Michelle with Treecat here. How you doing? Happy Saturday. Happy March 1st. Where did February go? I guess it's a short month, so we have to expect that it's going to go by quickly. But it went by quickly, didn't it? And now we're getting into the spring of things, aren't we? A little bit more sunshine, a little bit more fresh air, a little bit more coffee talk. You guys ready for some coffee talk this morning? I am. I have a lot to talk about, so lean in and listen up because Mama's got some news. I got some tips. I got some suggestions, some ideas, perhaps a cautionary tale here or there, and some story time. But I want to talk about the ABCs of reselling. Been doing reselling for a while now, as have many of you. And, well, we've learned a lot from our journey, haven't we? So let's just get right into it. Number A, or I guess I should say letter A. I'm going to start with letter A. And I might not be able to get through all these because there's a lot of letters in our alphabet, as you know. So I'm going to get through as many as I can, and then maybe we'll make this into a series, or maybe we'll make this into something that I complete on social media, and you can follow me there to see the rest of the alphabet. But for now, let's start with the letter A. Automation. Did you think I would say anything different? Of course, I'm going to say automation. Automation has really helped me, especially since I started using Treecat, right? And it's automating, some of the cross-listing for me. It's automating the sales detection specifically and the auto delisting so that when one of my items sells, Treecat takes the other two down for me, even when I'm asleep, eliminating the risk of overselling, which, as we all know, it's a big deal when you start cross-listing. You need to not double sell. It also automates my delist relisting for me, and I can schedule that. So that's freed up a lot of my time. It also automates my Poshmark sharing. I don't even have to push a button. It happens every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then at the nightly party from 7 to 9 p.m. So I highly recommend automations. I think they save you time, they save you stress, they save you money, and they can also help you make more money because you're getting perhaps more impressions on your listings. Okay, so that's A, automation. Embrace it, right? Let's get in the year 2025 and embrace automation with our reselling, because we live in a very competitive reselling, and e-commerce is very competitive now, if you haven't noticed. Like I said, I've been selling casually since 2002. And then in 2017, I made it more of an income stream. And even since 2017, there have been a lot of technologies, a lot of things that have happened to help, with efficiencies, to help with saving time. And so I'm just a big believer in automation. I guess I should say letter B. Letter B is all about blocking bad buyers. Now, blocking bad buyers is very important because that's the one tool that you have, right? So you can go and there are several red flags, right, that we probably all know about. But for example, let's see, what did I have in my notes? If they want you to do transactions outside of eBay, that's a red flag. Going to want to block that person. If they want you to contact them off of eBay or Poshmark or Mercari, take the sale off of the platform, you're not going to have coverage if you do that, and it's usually a scam. Although there are some people who are very naive and think, oh, I just don't want to pay, the 20%. So let's just avoid that. But they're probably new. But that's a common scam. And also, if they want you to sell it to a different address, if you rather ship it to a different address, that's also really scammy. A lot of times, if I have a buyer that is over communicating, like tons and tons of questions, tons of demands for discounts or refunds or other concessions, that's a red flag for me. And you know what? You can just block these. And especially even after, most of the buyers on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, they're great. But there are some bad seeds out there. And then after you've had a bad situation, because you probably will have a bad situation, maybe somebody will do a chargeback, or they'll send you a return that's actually not the item that you sold them. It's their old used item that they're swapping out for the, nicer, newer one. So, of course, report those things and take pictures and all that stuff, but you're also gonna wanna block them. You can block buyers on eBay. You just go to customer service, and it'll tell you exactly how to block a buyer, and you just put them on your block buyers list. You can do this on Poshmark. If you go to Poshmark support, they have an article about how to block a user, as does Mercari. So it's easy to block buyers, and it's very empowering, and I recommend you do it. Even if you just have, even it's just that spidey sense. You're just like, this person's there's a lot of red flags here. And we all know, we all have the spidey sense, right? After years of reselling, you get that spidey sense and you're like, this is gonna be a bad buyer. So, I don't know. I don't often block a buyer before I've had a sale with them. I usually do it after I've had a sale with them and after there's been an issue, but there are times when I don't wanna get into all the stories, but there are times when you just know, "Oh, this person's, like, asking me for backflips and to fly to the moon for them," and it's just like, "I don't think so." So, sometimes there's occasions when I will block a bad buyer. The other thing that you wanna look at is this badbuyerlist.org, and there are people that keep track of bad buyers. So take a look at it, badbuyerlist.org, and you can see that there are people that have been reported for being bad buyers. Okay, let's go on to letter C, customer experience. So the reason you want to provide a good customer experience, essentially, is because you want repeat customers, right? Obviously, you're going to make the cost of getting a new buyer. We aren't probably privy to that, because we don't have to do our own marketing on eBay. But sometimes some of us are paying for clicks. Some of us are paying for outside ads. Some of us are paying to promote, and some of us are paying, are offering substantive discounts to make those sales. So there is a cost related to getting a buyer to buy. Um, we may not be tracking those analytics ourselves, but there are ways you can track that. And like when you have a business that's not where you're reliant on a selling platform like we are, we're reliant on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, and they take care of a lot of that stuff for us. So we may not understand that in a normal business. Like if you were on Shopify, you'd have to be paying for those customers, and you would have a better understanding of what your cost of customer acquisition is. And sometimes it's quite expensive. So the end goal is you want repeat buyers. So that's why you want to be very responsive in your communication. You want to offer quick shipping. I do next day shipping. And then you might want to even consider, a personal touch, a special personal touch. I was looking on best tips on eBay, and this person, Duncan VR, wrote that they like to write a message to them in eBay, thank them for their purchase, them an ETA on when it's going to be shipped, paste their shop link, ask them to bookmark it. And so looks like they're a UK seller, but I mean, that's something we can do here for our users. We can, preemptively say, hey, you could even put the tracking number in there. You could send them a message and be like, I just shipped this. Thank you so much for your purchase. And like also eBay lets you do coupons and things like that and newsletters. So I think those are also things that we can do to kind of go a step above and beyond, to give that, customer the best experience. And honestly, like I think if you're using products like Treecat, shameless plug here, you are actually contributing to these seller platform integrity because the buyer is not getting double, you're not having to cancel orders, right? Because you're not double selling. So that's another way to affect the ultimate buyer experience, right? You're affecting the platform integrity, and you're affecting the at the end of the day, your buyer's experience. And honestly, like the more repeat customers, the better, because you are not paying for that customer cost of acquisition. They're a repeat buyer. They're free, which is amazing. Okay, moving on. We were on letter D, demand. Um, there are several ways that you can search what the demand is for a certain product that you are selling. Um, this is eBay's, it used to be called Terapeak, and now it's just called like product search. And you can go onto product search and you can type in the name of a product, and then you can get an idea of what the average listing price is, what the range is, how much shipping costs, how many people are offering free shipping, how many total active listings, and how many are doing promoted listings. So that helps a little bit with regard to understanding demand and pricing and things like that. There are also third-party apps that you can use, and I'm not affiliated with any of these. I'm not recommending necessarily any of these, but I do like this, Poshwatch.io. They actually give you a lot more information, like, about sell-through rate, or you can, start filtering by brand. They tell you top categories, top brands, even your top sellers, like who you're competing with. They give you like 10 free searches per month, and then it's a paid service. But just, if because you can search, obviously, you can search solds on eBay, you can search solds on Poshmark, you can search solds on Mercari, you can search solds on all of those. But this kind of situation takes just a little bit a step above and beyond, and lets you do lots of filtering, and lets you look, specifically by brand, and other things like that. So interesting tool to look at, to consider. What I wanted to talk about is you can go on to Google Trends as well. Now, Google Trends is mostly just going to give you information about brands. But let's say, I'm not a big purse seller, but let's say I was at the thrift and I found a really cool Coach purse. And I've been hearing like whisperings like about Coach recently, about how they've kind of had a glow up in and they're kind of trending. And so I just put the search term Coach purse, and I went, this is in Google Trends, and I went to the last 12 months just to see what happened with the search term Coach purse. And you can see there was a big spike in December. Well, taking that's just looking at Coach specifically, but let's say I wanted to compare it to some other brands. And so let's say I want to put in Kate Spade. Okay. Oh, actually, I should probably change that to Kate Spade purse, so we're consistent. So I'm just looking at the search terms from Google about Kate Spade purses. Less of a volume of search terms there. Maybe that means there's less of a demand for Kate Spade purses compared to Coach purses in the same amount of time, that in the last 1 year time period. Let's add another search term. And I'm just looking for stuff that like I usually see at the thrift. Anyways, you can look Dooney and Burke, and the you got to make sure you spell these things right. Dooney and Burke purse. Oh, Michael Kors is the other one that I was thinking of. And then let's add Michael Kors, Kors purse. These are kind of like, not low end, but like lower end of the expensive purses, right? Like if you go to Macy's, you could actually go on Macy's or on Nordstrom or on Neiman Marcus and search for best-selling purchase, and you can see kind of the different tiers. So this would be like in the hundreds. Stuff that they sell at Neiman Marcus would be, sometimes they sell bags that are luxury and they're in the thousands. But I'm just doing a search here for purses that fall in the hundreds, like they're I would say mid tier, right? So if you can see that Coach really does have more of a demand, or I'm assuming it's demand, but they have more volume of searches in Google in the last year. And so what that tells me is if I'm at the thrift and I see a Coach bag, I'm more likely to pick that up as opposed to a Kate Spade, a Dooney and Burke, or a Michael Kors purse, just by the fact alone that my hunch that Coach is kind of trending right now, whatever they're doing, new designs, whatever, that's going to just give me a little bit more information about the demand, right? So so lots of different ways to gauge demand, but I think it's worth looking into for sure. I mean, I know all of us are searching sold comps. Obviously, that's a no-brainer. But there's just a little bit more you can go more in depth if you want by some of these third-party products, or even just by searching Google Trends. Okay, moving on. Letter E is for efficiency. Well, I am always thinking of in terms of how can I be more efficient in the various things I do for reselling. And one of the major things that I do is listing. Now, this is my listing process because I always want to try to eliminate touch points. I think for me right now, there's like 3 touch points, and it could be even eliminated even more. So right now, I have somebody helping me with my photography. So what I do is I create the drafts actually in eBay. I sell similar from me. I edit, I put the new titles, details, shipping. I put a new SKU, which has the date, price, and location of where I'm storing it. And then it's in my drafts in eBay on my phone. So then my lister or my photographer goes on the drafts in eBay and clicks on the one and starts to take the photos in eBay. Okay, and then I give them a shot list: front, side, left, side, right, back, close up of the clasp, close up of the front tag, close up of the back tag. So it's literally like 7 pictures, right? The setup is a large light box with a white background, which enables us to um, pull the background out easier than if it was a different color. So once he removes the background and saves it, then I can go back to my computer and I can make any final edits and launch it and then put it in the bin, right? The bin that has the correct SKU. Now, I think I could take out a touch point there and have him actually launch it so that when I'm during the creating drafts process, I'm making sure that everything's edited properly. Now, so I could take out one of those touch points easily. So it's just a matter of putting it down on paper, putting your process down on paper, thinking about where can I eliminate a touch point. Um, so yeah, so E is for efficiency, and there are so many ways where we can look at our processes and streamline them. So I highly recommend doing that if you have the opportunity. All right, moving on. F stands for first offer might be your best offer, and this is just based on I guess experience here, but it I think you need to know. I made this little Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets spreadsheet, I guess. And it what it does is it helps me understand, my pricing and what kind of offers I'm willing to take. Like if I'm immediately getting an offer and I'm like, oh, it's a 20% off offer. I can kind of think about in terms of, well, what does that number look like, right? So these are kind of on the left hand side here, these are my you know, all my different pricing SKUs. And then I had Excel just calculate what's 5% off of that, or what's 10%, or what's 20%. And then I made in the middle here, I actually told it to subtract that number. So what does a 5% offer look like? Right? So 17.99, a 5% offer is 17.09. A 10% offer is 16.19, and then a 20% offer is 14.39. So that gives me an idea if someone makes me an offer on my 17.99, or maybe it's even priced at 18 because some of the platforms don't really do 99. They just have one. Like I think Mercari just lets you do one price, rounds it to just the main number. So if someone on Mercari were to make me a first offer, I just listed it, and they made an offer of 14 or $15, I might be like, yeah, I'll take that. But if they're making me an offer of $5, that's just not what I accept, right? I only accept offers that are 10% or 20%. Now, knowing that this allows you to price up to account for the fact that you might be offering 5% discounts like on eBay, or you might be offering a 10% discounts on Poshmark or Mercari or whatever. So this just gives you an idea. Here in the spreadsheet, I had it add 5% to all of these different pricing SKUs to see, well, maybe I need to start this at 21% because it's on $21 and, 21 or $22, maybe I would round up on Poshmark because I know I'm going to get those 20% offers. So anyways, this is something that I like to do. I like to have it as a quick reference for me so that when I get those first offers, I can come back with, a 10% off. And if they're saying I want 50% off and you're like, how about 10%, right? And then maybe you have some negotiating room and maybe you're willing to go to 20, right? So just some tactics on first offer might be your best offer, and how to maybe think about ways to negotiate with them rather than just shutting it off and being like, I just listed this yesterday and I know I can get full price for it. The longer something's sitting around, the less impressions it's going to get because it kind of goes down and down and down in search algorithm. So I don't know. It's just something to think about. I mean, I not giving any specific advice, but just from my personal experience, I do tend to give some consideration to those first offers unless they're really really poor offers. But sometimes if you know your numbers, you can start the conversation and see if you guys can meet somewhere in the middle that might be somewhere close to what you're willing to accept. Okay, G, how are we doing on time? Oh gosh, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to continue this as a like web or maybe like social media series. So if you want to get more of the ABCs of reselling, what I would suggest is you follow me on one of my social medias. I'm on YouTube at Treecat.io. I'm on TikTok at Treecat.io, Facebook Treecat.io, Instagram Treecat.io, Reddit r/Treecat, and Blue Sky at Treecat.io. So I think what I'll do is I will just do this as a series. Then I'll post these on all my social medias as reels, and they'll be the same thing on all of the social medias. So check that out going forward. Let's see what else do we want to. We have just a few more things to talk about. News and updates. I noticed that eBay is now supporting Venmo. That's really cool. And they're also possibly cross-posting your listings onto Facebook Marketplace. So that's kind of cool. I'm not mad about that. Although hopefully like they change their terms so that we're in agreement of being cross-listed onto Facebook Marketplace. Gosh, everybody's getting into the cross-listing business now. Cool. Hopefully they will make sure that the items get taken down once they're sold from Facebook Marketplace so that they don't double sell on eBay. I'm sure they've got that figured out. Okay. Let's see. We did have a user question about getting duplicates. So usually when you're on Treecat, you might get a duplicate because you chose to do your delist relists off of Treecat. If you do your delist relists on Treecat, Treecat still recognizes them as being a match, and it will continue to sales detect and auto delist. If you do your delist relists outside of Treecat, every time Treecat does a sync, it recognizes those listings that were delist relisted, for example, through eBay as brand new listings. So it will create a duplicate. So if you found yourself doing something like that, what you're going to need to do is do a full sync, okay? And it will correct some of this. And then filter items not listed on eBay. And then you'll be able to see the duplicates, open a separate tab. You'll be able to see what you need to delist. There's also third-party duplicate checkers. If you do a Google search for eBay duplicate checker, you can use that program to find, your duplicated listings. So interesting, information in terms of little things you need to remember when you're using Treecat. That's really important to do your delist relists through Treecat. Otherwise, they'll be recognized as brand new listings and they'll pull them in and you'll get duplicates that way. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. Hope you guys are all having a great Saturday. Enjoy this amazing weather that we're having. Happy spring. And as always, reach out if you have any questions. You can contact us through the little, I don't know if you can see it, but it's on the right hand corner of Treecat. It's this little question mark. And right there, this little question mark. And you can contact us that way or through support or on our Reddit forum. But yeah, we hope to hear from you and lots of exciting things coming up very shortly. So stay tuned. And thanks again for watching and mahalo. Bye bye.